Modern men are no longer strong, not because society crushed them, but because they weakened themselves, day by day, choice by choice, every time they compromise with laziness, emotion, and delusional self-importance. You think you're smart? Good. But if you're guilty of even one of the 6 signs I'm about to lay out, then sorry, you're living like a fool. This isn't a feel-good video. This is a slap to wake you up, to show you why your life is stuck, why you're not respected, why you're always on the sidelines. If you've got the guts to face it, keep watching. If not, do yourself a favor and turn this off now. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and like if you're new here. It helps me keep bringing you more valuable content. Here's a truth most men are too soft to admit. The majority of them have no control over their emotions. They're oversized children, throwing tantrums when angry, withdrawing when sad, blaming others when disappointed. They walk around like the world should bend to their feelings, and when it doesn't, they shatter like thin glass. I'm not saying emotions are the enemy. Emotions are what make us human. But if your emotions dictate your actions, you're not a man. You're a tool, a puppet, pulled by anger, sadness, frustration, and a bruised ego. There are guys who proudly call themselves hot-tempered, like it's some charming character trait that deserves a pass. It's not. It's a confession. Being hot-headed isn't strength, it's weakness. It's proof you have no grip on yourself. A real man is the one who stays silent when fury boils, who chooses how to respond instead of letting instincts take over. People love to say, "I just couldn't help it." Then I'm sorry. You're not grown. A 3-year-old can't help it. A man with a rational mind knows reacting to short-term emotion often leads to long-term damage. One careless outburst at your wife could cost you 3 months of silent war. Smash your phone in anger over an email and you miss tomorrow's call with an investor. Small actions, massive consequences. Stoicism doesn't teach you to kill emotion. It teaches you to train it, like a wild horse that needs to be tamed. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The strong man is the one who remains calm in the face of what breaks others." That might sound poetic, but it's deeply practical. When everyone's panicking, you stay sharp. When others lose their grip, you stay in control. When the world's burning, you still think clearly. That's the kind of man others follow. Not because he's always right, but because he never loses his center in the chaos. Can you become that man? Yes, but it costs. The price is daily discipline. The grind of putting yourself in discomfort to train calmness, working out when tired, fasting when hungry, showing up when bored. Not to brag, but to wire your brain to obey you, not your feelings. Here's the paradox. It's only when you stay silent in anger that you truly gain a voice. The world listens to the man who masters himself. Not because he yells the loudest, but because he's the only one who stays steady while others lose their minds. If you live reacting to every little emotion, you'll never achieve anything great. No one builds a legacy on outbursts. Legacies are built on discipline, composure, and the ability to see beyond the emotional moment. You can keep telling yourself, "This is just how I am." Or you can start changing. Moment by moment, reaction by reaction. Don't let emotion define you, because if you don't control it, it will destroy you before you ever get the chance to truly live. Nothing kills a man faster than seeing himself as a victim. It's a sweet poison, goes down easy, feels comforting, but kills you slowly from the inside. It's a clever trap, disguised as self-pity. And the worst part, you built the trap yourself. You've heard it before. "I was born into a poor family, so I never had a chance." Or, "My boss favors others, that's why I never get promoted." Maybe, "This society's rigged, so I can't succeed." Sound familiar? That's the same tired script millions of men are feeding themselves every single day to justify why they're failing. But here's the truth. You didn't fail because of your circumstances. You failed because you believed your circumstances get to decide your future. Yes, the world is unfair. Nobody's denying that, but blaming injustice won't make you stronger. It'll make you soft, weak, manipulatable, and worst of all, comfortable in that weakness. You start to enjoy being the victim. You like being pitied. You stop looking for ways to change and start looking for excuses to stay the same. The Stoics didn't live like that. They didn't point fingers, even when they had every right to. Epictetus was born a slave. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire in the middle of war, plague, and betrayal. But neither of them screamed, "I didn't choose this." They acted. They lived with what they had, and they turned adversity into dignity. When you play the victim, you surrender the greatest power a man has, the power to choose his response. You let others define you, control your emotions, and steer your actions. You become a drifting boat in the middle of the ocean, blaming the wind, but refusing to pick up a paddle. Hear this clearly. You're not responsible for the conditions you were born into, but you are 100% responsible for who you choose to become. If you're broke, work twice as hard. If you're weak, train 3 times as hard. If you've been rejected, figure out how to create your own doors. Complaining isn't a strategy, it's a symptom of surrender. A grown man doesn't live on excuses. He lives on results. He doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He asks, "What am I going to do about it?" The difference between the weak and the strong isn't how many times they get knocked down. It's who gets back up without whining. Playing the victim might win you sympathy, but it'll cost you respect, especially self-respect. You can't look in the mirror and see a man of value if deep down you know you're living on excuses. This world owes you one thing: death. Everything else? You earn it. No one's coming to save you. And they shouldn't, because if you never learn to pull yourself out of the mud, you'll never know what true freedom feels like. You can keep blaming your parents, society, the government, the economy, your ex, your old teacher, your neighbor, or whatever ghost from your past. But every second you spend blaming is a second you move further away from the life you could be building. The real question isn't, who made you like this? It's, what are you going to do to never be like this again? Modern men don't live to become someone. They live to be seen as someone. They don't ask, "Am I right?" They ask, "What do others think of me?" And from there, their entire life revolves around an exhausting game. The game of pleasing people, chasing likes, nods, validation, dressing by trends, speaking to fit the crowd, and living like a smiling puppet who knows exactly when to laugh. But here's the problem. You can be accepted and still feel completely empty inside. You can be adored by thousands and still lose sleep at night because deep down you know you're living a lie. And at that point, no amount of praise can silence the self-disgust. Stoic philosophy asks one clear question: do you want to be right, or do you want to be liked? Epictetus once said, "If you want to make progress, prepare to be misunderstood, mocked, and rejected." Because that's the price of standing firm in truth in a world addicted to lies. And the truth, even when it hurts, is the only thing that actually helps you grow. Praise makes you feel good, but challenge makes you become good. But modern men can't handle the loneliness that comes with the truth. They nod when they disagree, they smile when they feel disgust, they stay silent when they know something is wrong, all because they're afraid to lose even a small sense of belonging. That's not living, that's timid survival, wrapped in the skin of a harmless nobody. Truth isn't comfortable, it's ruthless. It doesn't care how you feel. But that's exactly why it's the only solid ground you can build a real life on. You can build your identity on praise, but the first storm will level it in a day. A real man lives by an internal code. He doesn't need approval, because he already approves of himself. When he speaks, he says what he believes. When he acts, it's because it aligns with his values. And if the world turns on him, he keeps moving, because he's not driven by applause. And the worst part of chasing approval? You become the easiest man to manipulate. All someone has to do is dangle validation in front of you, and you'll betray your own values just to get it. You sell yourself without realizing it, bit by bit, one compromise at a time, until one day you don't even recognize the man in the mirror. If truth costs you friendships, let them go. If it costs you love, let them walk. If doing what's right makes you lonely, learn to love that solitude. Because it's the price you pay to look yourself in the eye and know you're still a man, not a puppet. Approval can come later. Truth must come first. And if you live with integrity, real respect will follow. Not from the crowd, but from those who matter. But if you live to please the crowd, You'll never receive the one kind of validation that actually means something, the respect of the man you face in the mirror. Don't be a parrot for popular opinion. Be the man who says what no one else dares to, so long as you know it's true. Because in a world drowning in pretense, truth is the highest form of courage. If this video made you think, hit like now. Comment below. How have you applied Stoicism in your life? Stoic success, unbreakable mindset, total control. There is no death more painful than the death of potential. And it happens every day. Buried under laziness disguised as reasonable-sounding excuses. I'm waiting for the right time. I'm not ready yet. I'll start when I feel inspired. Those are lies you feed yourself to avoid facing one truth. You're weak, you're lazy, and you lack discipline. Modern men don't lack opportunity. They lack commitment. They don't lack time. They lack the ability to do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. They live as if motivation is the only fuel that matters. But here's what no one told you. Motivation is trash. It comes and goes like the wind. Basing your life on it is like building a house on sand. The Stoics didn't wait for inspiration. They didn't wait for a good mood. They woke up and acted, because action is part of the duty of being alive. Not because they always felt like it, but because they understood one thing. Discipline is freedom. When you act regardless of emotion, you take control of yourself. But if you only act when you're in the mood, then your life is not yours. You're being led around by your feelings. You want a healthy body, but you only train when it feels fun. You want a breakthrough career, but you only work when the mood hits. You want to be a man of weight and presence, but you can't stay off TikTok for 10 minutes. You don't need more motivation. You need to chew yourself out every time you procrastinate. You need to look at the clock at 5 a.m. and say, get up, not because I want to, because I have to. That's discipline. That's the core of manhood. You think not starting means you haven't failed yet? Wrong. Not starting is failure. Every day you're not moving forward is a day you're falling behind. In the real world, no one's waiting for you. There's no sooner or later. There's only those who act, and those who get left behind. Strong men aren't the ones who never get tired, never lose focus, or never feel unmotivated. Strong men are the ones who move forward, even when all those things are clawing at them. Because they don't live by emotion, they live by commitment. You think you're special, that you need a perfect time? That's laughable. The perfect time doesn't exist. It's a trap, built from fear of failure and an addiction to comfort. Starting before you're ready is the only way to ever be ready. Painful, clumsy, awkward, but that's how you grow. I don't care how many dreams you have. I care about one thing. What the hell did you do today to get closer to them? If the answer is nothing, then shut your mouth, turn off the motivational video, throw the self-help book in the trash, and get to work on the thing you've been avoiding. Procrastination doesn't kill you instantly. It just guarantees that one day you'll wake up at 45 and realize you're a coward who's never truly lived. Someone who waited and waited until there was nothing left to wait for. By then, you'll beg to go back to the days when you weren't in the mood, just to have another shot to begin. But time doesn't answer prayers. It only says one thing: time's up. Your ego might make you feel important, but if you're not careful, it's the very thing that will hold you back for the rest of your life. The world isn't short on smart men. It's short on men who are willing to be wrong. Most people don't fail because they're stupid. They fail because they can't stand being corrected. The second someone challenges them, they don't listen. They brace for battle. No questions asked, no curiosity, just pure defense mode. They're not searching for truth. They're just trying to protect the fragile illusion of I'm right, no matter the cost. And the cost of that stubbornness is a life that never moves forward. You see these people everywhere. They read a few books and think they know enough. They believe past successes guarantee their future decisions are always right. They sit comfortably in the bubble of old thinking, and anything that contradicts their worldview is instantly rejected. They don't want truth, they want confirmation. That's why so many people grow more narrow-minded with age, more arrogant with success, and more deaf with power. They mistake experience for invincibility. But the reality is simple. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying, slowly in the quicksand of your own pride and stagnation. The Stoics were the opposite. They sought truth no matter where it came from, a philosopher, a slave, even an enemy. Marcus Aurelius ruled the greatest empire of his time, yet wrote in his journals like a man humbly dissecting every weak thought in himself. Because he understood, true strength isn't power, it's the humility to keep growing. You might have degrees, you might have experience, but if you can't sit down, shut up, and learn from someone better than you, you're not wise. You're just hiding your insecurity behind the crust of outdated knowledge you refuse to challenge. Learning isn't just reading more books. Learning is the willingness to let your ego be shattered. It's accepting that you were wrong. It's changing your behavior even when it makes you feel exposed. And that's something few men have the guts to do, because it demands courage. Courage to face yourself. The ego screams, "I already know enough." But truth whispers, "If you know enough, why are you still stuck here?" A real man isn't afraid of being wrong. He's afraid of living his entire life wrong and never knowing it, because no one dared to tell him. And worse, he never allowed himself to see it. And here's the punchline. Every time you resist the truth just because it bruises your ego, you're choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth. You're choosing the feeling of being right over actually becoming right. You want to be stronger, smarter, sharper? Then learn how to let people correct you. Learn how to ask, "Where am I wrong?" instead of, "Am I right?" Learn to walk into conversations that make you uncomfortable, because that's exactly where real growth begins. But hey, if you want to protect your ego, go ahead. Just remember, your ego won't feed you. It won't keep you alive longer. It won't earn you real respect. All it gives you is a proud little death, one you earned by defending your own ignorance. You have 24 hours in a day. The problem is never whether you have time or not. It's what the hell you're throwing your time into. And the raw truth is this. Modern men are spiritually killing themselves, one TikTok video at a time, one Instagram scroll, 1 hour wasted on Netflix, YouTube, mindless podcasts, gaming, and entertainment designed to obliterate your focus and your sense of purpose. You don't see the damage right away, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. It's like eating sugar every day. Feels good in the moment, but underneath, you're rotting, slowly, silently. Every time you choose entertainment over action, your brain learns one lesson. Avoid the discomfort of growth. Escape into temporary pleasure. And from there, you lose focus. You lose the ability to do deep work. You lose that burning urgency to build something real. Worst of all, you begin to feel okay with your own mediocrity. Ever planned to learn a new skill, but ended up watching reaction videos all evening? Ever told yourself you'd write, create, build something, but instead laid on your back listening to some feel-good podcast about positive energy? Ever wonder why you're always tired despite doing nothing that actually matters? The answer is this. You've turned entertainment to your main life mission. You're no longer in control of your attention. You've become its victim. And don't you dare blame technology. Tools aren't the problem, the user is. The Stoics live by a simple rule. If it doesn't serve your personal growth, cut it out. No mercy, no excuses, no delay. You can quit social media for 7 days and no one will die. But you'll wake up to a brutal fact. You've wasted hundreds of hours every month on things that gave you nothing. No knowledge, no skill, no wealth. No depth, just cheap dopamine and the illusion of satisfaction. You think entertainment helps you relax? Wrong. Real relaxation is what you earn after doing the hard things. What you're doing is hiding, numbing the guilt of knowing you haven't earned anything yet. Want to live differently? Cut the worthless entertainment. Make learning, practicing, and creating your new default. When others watch TV, you write. When others game, you train. When others scroll, you read, build, and invest in yourself. Yes, it's a lonely road, but it's the only road that leads to respect from others and, more importantly, from yourself. And if you choose entertainment as your priority, fine. But don't complain that you're broke. Don't whine that life's unfair. Don't wonder why no one values you. You spent your most valuable asset, time, buying the cheapest thing on earth, distraction. Time is the one thing you can never buy back. Every minute, you're either getting closer to the man you want to be, or falling deeper into the one you hate, the old, lazy, powerless version of you. The choice is yours, but no one else pays the price for it. You can ignore every single sign and keep living like nothing's wrong. But don't act surprised when your life goes nowhere. Don't ask why no one respects you, why no one listens to you, why no one chooses you for anything that matters. The answer is written in your habits, in your reactions, in your procrastination, in how you spend your time, and in your refusal to face the truth. Wisdom doesn't come from degrees. It doesn't come from quoting clever shit on social media. It comes from the courage to look in the mirror and say, I'm still weak, but I refuse to stay this way. If you recognize even one of these signs in yourself, don't deny it. Don't defend it. Act today. Because this world isn't built by the guys who are thinking about changing. It's built by those who already started, no matter what stood in their way. Thank you for watching. Support this amazing community by subscribing and turning on notifications now. Hit like and share your experience in the comments to spread positive energy today. Together, we can inspire and uplift each other on this journey.